Hey, welcome to Mike's Trains, and thanks for joining me for this next video. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Still involved with the train station, still working on stuff. But this one, last week we cut off this clock off the top of the train station to make room for the billboard so it can all be seen. And I said stay tuned for this clock because I have plans for it. Well, this is the week. My plan for this clock is I want to light the face of the clock. Okay, that's the idea, that's the plan, that's what we're going to work on. So I've already started working on this a little bit. I did find out that I can't use this clock simply because if you've ever built one of these Union Station buildings before, HO or N, this back cover is a separate piece. So you have all the frame around the side of it here, and then there's a piece that fits inside of it. Well, when I put this originally together, I glued it in. Okay, so it does not come out. I tried scraping it, you can see. I can't get it out. So I had to make a new clock fixture. So this is our original right here. And I went ahead and I made this one, which is pretty much the same as the old one. Only difference being it's a little tad bit bigger. Let me put it on my board here so you can see it. It's a shade bigger than the old one, which is fine. It's actually longer at the bottom here than the old one is. The rest of it it's just a shade wider and a little shade taller, but it fits the building perfectly. And then I don't know if this comes out on camera, but after I drilled this hole, I went in again and recessed the hole. So there's a lip that goes around inside of here. I thought that looked nice, and it brought out the clock a little more. And then I have the decals I saved, because I save everything. I saved a decal sheet that came with my Union Station. So I have another clock decal. And then what'll happen is this will go in here like something like that. Okay, and then we're going to light it from the back. Now what I have to do this, now this here is just a 60 thousandths sheet, little piece of styrene. I keep all my scraps. I don't know if anybody else does. Maybe I'm just crazy, but all these little odd scraps, even smaller ones than this, like this piece here, I'll end up keeping that. I keep all those scraps. I have a bucket full of it, and that's why I use that stuff for these things. So I have the 60 thousandths sheet with the hole drilled in it, and then I went with the same 60 by 60 strip, and I went around the back. So now it's thick. Okay, it's the same thickness as the original clock. When you put them up against each other, they're the same. So that's how I came up with that. And I need that to be open in the back because I need room to be able to slide the lighting in there. So you can kind of see it's raised up. So that's where our lighting's going to go. And building that's where all this stuff came from. So let me wipe all this out of the way a little bit. We'll push all that out. Now this old clock, we don't need this anymore because we have our new one here. Now this one will need to get painted and all. Now what I have to light this is this. This is electroluminescent lighting. This is from Miller Engineering, and it's what they call an experimenter's kit. And when you open this up, if you've never seen one before, what you get is your manual, which I highly recommend reading because it really it tells you, gives you ideas on what you can do with it and what not to do with it. You get this sheet. This is the electroluminescent lighting sheet. This will actually light up, this whole sheet. And this can be cut with scissors. So each one of these is a cut point for the scissors. You can cut and you can cut. I can cut a. Okay, so this is the sheet. And then with that as well, you get this right here. Now I've modified this already because that's just how it is. This is the plug that goes onto these prongs right on the end here. So this plug, you plug it in here, and then you hook up. It's made to run. I cut off the ends already here. There's an on-off switch right here, and then right here, these go to 2 AA batteries. Now this is meant to run, according to the directions, on 3 volts even, but it can go all the way up to 6 volts if you have to. They don't recommend it, but I'm not going to be running that high anyway. My sign on top of the train station is from the same guys, and that sign there runs at 4.9 volts. I'm actually going to wire this into the lighting for the billboard above. But I did test it, and let me show you what that looks like, because I like to know that it's working before we go start doing things to it and modifying. And so here's my power supply leads. And then we have that. And then we want to plug all of this into here. And turn off one of these lights. There you go. So if I turn it off, you can see that it lights up. And that's at 4.9 volts. Alright, it's not hugely bright, it's just a glow. That's all I'm looking for. Alright. So this is pretty cool. So let's take this apart again. Let's unhook it from the power. We'll unhook all of this. Now this we just cut with scissors. Now what they're saying is I can take, well, I'm gonna work with this lead over here because I don't want to cut a chunk out of the middle. I'd rather cut from the end. So I'm gonna take this lead over here. Now when I line up this lead to the back of my clock, you can see that the leads fit right inside the clock just fine. And then what I'll do, well, let me get this cut in here, and then we'll move on from there. So first thing I need to do is get this to fit. We need a pencil, and we're just going to cut this. I'm gonna hold it in place, and I'm just going to trace around. Right there. So I don't know if that shows. Yeah, there's our pencil lines. So they say you can use scissors or a knife. I'm going to use scissors for this, and I'm just going to cut this like that, like that. And then I'm going to use a knife because I don't want to bend this too much. It is bendable, but you can bend it too far and you'll crack the backing on this. So then I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it right across. And it also specify, they say, do not tear it if it's not cut through. Okay, so here's our little piece of light. Now we need to test this again because I want to make sure that this is still going to work before we go any further. So again, we're going to take our leads, hook this up on here, and then over to here. And then we want to plug this into the light. Ouch. Ooh, that gives you a little zap. Be careful with it. We'll plug that in there. And it works. Alright. In case you can't see it, let me hit it a couple. There you go. So now you can see. So we have light now. So now we can unhook this, throw this over to the side. We don't need that anymore. Now we have to trim this a little bit more to fit inside of here. So I want to keep trimming this until I get it to fit all the way up inside. Okay, so I've got it mostly in there, and this is what we want. We want this to show up like this. The pink side is the lighted side, and then I bent down underneath here. You can see the prongs, and what I'm going to do is we'll drill a hole right in the wall of the building, and I may need to slot a little bit because I don't want to cut too much more. So let's see if this works. And there you go. So it still works. So this will fit right inside of here. If I can get it in there, this will go right inside of here like this. Just like that. Okay? So the next thing to do would be to put the decal right onto the surface of this. And then we can glue the whole thing into place. But I want to put the decal on the light while it's loose as opposed to afterwards. I may even cut this back just a little bit more. Oh, look at it. I don't even need to cut the bottom, we'll just cut the top. Okay, so there we are. Now it fits all the way up in. Nothing hanging out from the bottom, and that's right up in there. And now we can glue this into place and move on from there. But I think before I do that, I want to paint all of this clock face here. We want to paint this before we start gluing in lights. Now we know our light fits, it's all working. So let's put that to the side. We'll take this sheet here, put it back in the box. That'll be a future project for something else. So let me come back in a little bit and we'll continue on. Alright, so now the clock is all done. Here's all the hardware to run the lighting. You got your transformer, we have an on-off switch, and I have my power supply leads here, which go into my power supply over there. And the power supply is set to 4.9 volts. Let me give you a look at this close up so you can kind of see what goes on here. And there it is. It's all done. Okay, I think it came out pretty good. I'm happy with it and I'm going to let it fly. The only problem I have is that the color on the frame of this clock doesn't match the train station, and I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit and mix up some other colors and get that to match a little bit better, but that's something I'll do with a paintbrush later. You can kind of see the recess I did with the shadows. You can kind of see that in the face of the clock, but that's the whole thing. Now let me light this up. Let me turn it on so you can see what that looks like. Let's get this positioned right, like this, and then we'll turn on the lights. Here we go, and there it is. Now now you will notice that there's a small dark spot right here. Now that's really no fault of anything other than cutting the film of this light here too close to the edge. What that is, if you look on the back side, okay, so let me flip this up. I don't want to get shocked again, but there are small silver tabs right here, and this one actually comes up into the material that lights, and I can't really change that. It's just the nature of going this far back, this far down to the edge, and that's just the way it is. So that's the price I have to pay, is just that little bit of silver there. I don't think it's that big of a deal, and I'm going to let it stand. There's really nothing I can do any differently because of the size of this. So we're going to let it ride, and I think I'm really happy with it. So the next step with this is going to be to mount it into the train station, and I don't think I'm going to do that on camera. It's just a matter of taking the front of the train station. I have to drill a couple holes, a slot to slide this through so that this can slide into the train station, and then this whole thing here will get glued right to the face of the building, and that's pretty much it. And then the rest of this whole works here, this is all going to get tied into the wiring existing with the Union Station sign that's up on top of the building. I still need to mount this. We need to keep this transformer thing. That stays, but what will go away is the switch. I'll cut that out of there, and then we'll wire these directly into the same power source that the Union Station sign gets its power from. And that's going to be it. And then this will be all done. So, all that being said, I'm going to call this video done. I'm going to call this a successful build. And if you're watching this and you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Support what I'm doing. Keep me going. Love to have more people coming along, watching what I do. I think it's great. You can also visit my website. It's mikestrains.wordpress.com. There's all photos of my layout. I keep saying I'm going to update pictures, and I haven't done it yet. I have the pictures, I just have to find the time to do it. But those will be going up there anytime. I just got to find the time. You know, it's tough. There's also pictures of my father's HO scale layout that I'm building for him. I have updates for that as well, a couple of updates for that as well. I'm thinking I may even put a video for his trains up there. I haven't gotten to it yet. Again, I got to find the time for all this stuff. So go ahead and you can subscribe over there as well, and you'll get email updates anytime I put something up, so you're not constantly checking for no reason. It'll let you know when I do something over there. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy modeling.